Health Matters on SAfm.
Well, joining me now on the line is Dr. Albrecht. He's the head of research for the CANSA Association. And I remember speaking to him some time back about this very issue, the danger of plasticizers used in the manufacture of babies' bottles. Well, the CANSA Association recently announced that baby product manufacturer Nook have been awarded the seal of recognition, recognizing Nook as a CANSA smart choice. Hello, Dr. Albrecht. Welcome to the show.
Hi, good evening, Corin.
This is fabulous news.
Yes, we're delighted.
So they have now actually...
delighted that Nook have decided to take this bold step ahead and to make only BPA-free baby bottles. All over the world where they manufacture their bottles, they've taken an international decision that all the bottles will be free of this chemical. And it's the first company to take such a decision that we're aware of, and we're delighted that they are keen to work with CANSA. So we hopefully together we can bring about some really important change by informing people what this is all about and by setting an example.
So let's first of all explain to people what is BPA, because these are now BPA free. They don't have this in them. All other bottles other than the Nook baby bottles are made with BPA.
Yeah, could I just maybe just correct that to a little extent? It's not only Nook that's BPA free now.
Okay.
I think there are 4 or 5 different bottles that have gone that route, but the vast majority of polycarbonate baby bottles that are used in South Africa are BPA containing, and I think the reason for that is that polycarbonate is a cheap plastic. So you can actually go into a supermarket and buy yourself a BPA-containing bottle for about 20 Rand that's been imported from Thailand. So unfortunately, that is the fact of the day, and therefore most of the bottles still contain BPA. But a few companies have now taken the bold step to go ahead and to make the bottle free of BPA. Look is the first one to come to CANSA and say, let's work together. It's interesting that I can tell you that subsequent to this press release a few weeks ago, there are now 3 further companies that have come to CANSA, wanting to work with CANSA and get a further endorsement on the bottle saying that it's a smart choice, according to CANSA.
Now, how do you know if you're in the shop? Yeah. How do you know which ones are BPA free? Is it marked on the product?
Okay, the answer is that a lot of BPA-containing bottles have got a mark under the bottle, which is there to enable people to differentiate between different kinds of plastic when they reclaim plastic that's been thrown away and recycle it. So under the polycarbonate bottle, there's a triangle with the number 7 clearly inside the triangle. And then below the triangle, below the bottom line, you see the letters PC, which stand for polycarbonate. Sometimes you only get the number 7, and then you can't conclude for sure that the bottle contains BPA, because if there's only the number 7, then it could be a number of different kinds of plastic which fall under that category. The other thing is, Corin, that the most important thing I would say is to look at the writing on the container of the bottle. See if it says BPA free anywhere. Because you know what? I think it's only logical that if a company is selling a BPA free bottle, is going to actually make that statement somewhere on the wrapping. And then thirdly, I would say, apart from looking for the number 7 and looking for the BPA free, I'd say talk to your shopkeeper. Even if they don't know what's going on, it's also important for them to realize that people want to know. I'd simply walk into a shop like that and ask whoever's looking after the shop to show me the BPA-free bottles, that I can make up my mind which one of them I want to buy. I actually did that about 2 years ago, and there was only one bottle in the whole shop that was BPA-free. That is a born-free bottle that's made in Israel. And today, well, it's about 3 or 4 or 5 of them. So I think we definitely are progressing to get the BPA out of the bottle so that it doesn't end up in the body and especially not in the brain of a young child.
Now, if people are listening to this,
the bottle.
thinking to themselves, why are we getting all hysterical about BPA? What is it? I mean, we've been using these bottles for years and the baby's fine. And why are you now telling me not to use bottles with this BPA thing? What is it and what is it doing to the child? And it's not just in babies' bottles. I mean, it's in all sorts of things like cling wrap and everything.
Okay, look, let's face facts. BPA is everywhere. It's in the air, it's in the water, it's in the ground. Studies have actually shown that to be the case. Why is it everywhere? Because it's probably used in about 1,000 different items. Everything from a credit card to a CD to the dashboard inside a motor car to the crash helmet and many other applications is polycarbonate. Why? Because it's so cheap and because it's so strong. Polycarbonate is shatterproof. You can throw a CD at the wall or a baby bottle at the wall and it won't break because of the texture of the polycarbonate. So the whole planet has actually got lots and lots and lots of polycarbonate all over the show. It's only recently that people have begun to realize that there's a chemical inside that polycarbonate that leaches out. It leaches into the rivers, it leaches into the sea, in fact. It leaches into the air. That funny smell that one gets if you climb in your car after it's been standing in the sun for some time, part of that smell is BPA. So obviously we're all going to be contaminated. And in America they found that 92% of the population contain BPA in their blood. But the whole point of the story is we've got to start dealing with this problem somewhere. And the international thinking is let's start dealing with the problem by helping young children, especially if they're only a year old, not to be exposed to amounts of BPA that could cause biological problems, that have been shown to cause problems at those concentrations in experimental animals. Let's start off dealing with that problem by using bottles that don't contain the BPA. It's been shown, for example, that if you heat up a bottle containing milk or some other liquid, 50 times more BPA is released into that liquid through the heating up process. So my advice to anybody who's using a polycarbonate bottle at the moment is get rid of it. But if you can't get rid of it for whatever reason and you want to try and make the situation less threatening, then I would say, for heaven's sake, don't heat up that bottle. Heat up the milk in a separate glass container, for example, and then when it's the right temperature, you can pour that into the BPA bottle. But generally speaking, I think we need to get rid of these bottles. And this statement isn't just a whim. The fact of the matter is that there are 3 countries now that have banned BPA-containing bottles, namely Canada, who banned it 2 years ago, and Denmark, who came into the picture about a year and a half ago, and now France have put a ban on BPA bottles about a month ago.
And Australia is looking at it as well, I believe.
Yes. They're looking at the route of the industry policing itself and replacing the BPA bottles with bottles that don't contain BPA, bottles that are made of things like polypropylene or polyethylene. And, even the idea of a glass bottle isn't so outrageous. So there are alternatives. CANSA doesn't like to frighten people without giving a solution. We don't think that that's going to help anybody much. So if we warn against something, we'd like to give people solutions. And in this instance, the solution would be a BPA-free bottle such as those that are being sold by Nook.
And as you said, if you can't afford to change all the bottles that you have, at least don't warm up the bottle in the microwave. Use a glass container to warm up the milk, and then. But if the milk is warm and you pour it into the bottle, is that still going to have the same effect?
It's not going to make such a big difference if it is, the temperature that you would use for giving it to a baby.
It's just the fact that the bottle mustn't go in the microwave.
But if the bottle's heated up as the temperature goes up, more and more of these chemical molecules are released. Just to get back to why the excitement, what does this chemical actually do? Well, you see, this is a subtle thing about this story. We are used to thinking that something's dangerous if it causes an immediate, measurable effect. Like, let's say it causes pain. You touch a hot plate on the stove, you're going to get pain immediately. The stove is a dangerous thing. Keep the children away from the hot plates. We all understand that kind of logic. But if I tell you that something might only manifest its effect in years to come, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, the effect will become clear. Then it's difficult to understand that. It's too far away, sort of thing. But this is what these chemicals are doing. And the reason for that is that the bottom line is that BPA is like a hormone. It has the same effect as a female hormone, estrogen. But normally in the body, hormones are made at very precise moments in precise quantities to act on precise tissue. It's like a brain surgeon operating with the action of a hormone. It's a very precise thing. However, if you drink hormone every time you drink from the baby bottle, that's chaotic. That is not precise. That is haphazard. So if you start sending the hormonal signals into the developing baby whose brain isn't properly formed yet, then things go wrong. And the scientists are now beginning to discover that it's the brain, number one. And then after the brain, we're looking at other tissues. They found in embryonic tissue of the breast that the milk ducts increase in number due to BPA at very low concentrations. And they've also found that the genetic material in the prostate tissue is showing signs of genes being switched on and off by the BPA. So there is a fear, there is a concern that maybe this chemical is involved in the origin of breast and prostate cancer. Now, you see, that would be a big story because up to now we don't know what's causing breast and prostate cancer, but we do know that those are the two most prevalent cancers in the world. Breast cancer is number one cancer in the women of the world, prostate cancer side by side, number one cancer in the men of the world. We don't know what's causing it. The growing suspicion is it's chemicals.
Dr. Albrecht,
maybe not just one, but a whole family of chemicals.
I wish I could talk to you for longer, but unfortunately we've run out of time. I'd love to pick this up with you again sometime, but for now, just a word of warning to people out there. Please try not to use bottles containing BPA. Look out for the triangle with the number 7 and the letters PC underneath. And don't use those ones. Dr. Albrecht, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Only a pleasure, Cora.
Dr. Carl Albrecht is Head of Research for the Cancer Association, and if you'd like to find out more information, you can have a look at the website. It's www.cansa, that's CANSA, cancer.org.za.